Hi, welcome to Cinemascene on WGWG. I am very happy to have a guest with us today, Britt Robertson, a wonderful actress and an actress who's got some Carolina connections as well. So we're going to hopefully talk a little bit about that. She's got a film coming out in September opposite of Eddie Murphy. The film's called Mr. Church. We'll talk about that. Also, she has a Netflix series that is scheduled to launch this summer. Is that correct, Britt?
Not this summer, but 2017 at some point.
Okay, all right, sometime in 2017. Well, Britt, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out and talk movies with us.
Cool, thanks for having me.
So you've got talk about this Carolina connection that you've got.
Well, that's where I'm from, sir. I am from Charlotte. Well, I was born in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then I was raised then I moved to Chester, South Carolina, and then I was raised in Greenville, South Carolina. But a lot of my family are from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, well, I've the first skydiving attempt I ever did was in Chester, South Carolina, so very familiar with that. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, you have been involved in acting since childhood, and you got started in that when you were in Greenville. Is that right? Greenville, South Carolina?
Yes, I did. Greenville Little Theater.
Yeah.
That's where I started.
Did you know at that point that this was going to be something that you really wanted to do beyond just the theater? Did you know that films were kind of in your future, or did you see that?
Oh, no. I had no idea. I was just trying to make some friends at the local theater.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled basically my whole life, and so my mom put me in theater. She thought that would help me make friends, and then I ended up doing more theater in Chester, South Carolina, and then I got an agent through this what are they called? Showcase. I did like a showcase in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Okay.
And then I got an agent in LA, and they were like, "You should come out here," and then I've been out here ever since.
Well, you've worked with some amazing talent. You've worked in TV, you've worked in film, and you mentioned Oscar winners, and they're just all over the place in films that you've been a part of. What would you say some of the best advice you've been given by some of those great legends?
I think I would say the best advice in general would just be like, a lot of people are always really impressed by my manners.
Okay.
Being from the South, I have very good manners.
Right.
And I like to say, yes, sir, no, sir, my please, my thank yous. I like to know what everyone's name, get to know people, get to know their names, get to know their jobs. And almost every person I've ever worked with has always said, like, I hope you don't ever lose that Southern hospitality / polite etiquette-ness that I have going on. So the best advice I would say was just to stick to my roots.
Yeah, stay true to who you are. Yeah, that's awesome.
Totally.
Well, the first film I remember seeing you in was Dan in Real Life. Now, my daughter, when I mentioned to my daughter that we were going to be chatting, she says, "Oh, I loved her as Allie in Avalon High." So I said, "Well, I'll have to let her know that you enjoyed that you enjoyed her."
Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah,
Who knew I had a fan from afar?
Absolutely.
From Allie.
Yes.
Avalon High.
Yep.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah, Catherine Manning, your number one fan from Avalon High. So gotta say that.
Girl.
You've had some great opportunities in the past few years too. The Longest Ride was a great film, and then Tomorrowland with opposite of Clooney, and now here you are with Eddie Murphy in a film that really is a wonderful film about relationships and a film about cycles of change and seasons of life. And tell me about what drew you to this film in particular, Mr. Church.
Well, I love the story. I love the idea and the concept of a story like this. That this woman, was so inspired by this man who kind of stumbled upon her and her mother and joined their little family. That she was so inspired by his act of kindness and and the fact that he was willing to give his time and his love and his his compassion and his heart to these people, these strangers. She was so inspired by that act that she wanted to write the screenplay and then, fight to get a movie made 10 years later.
Yeah.
All of those sort of actions and I love that idea for a film, that someone would care that much about this person and the story that they'd want to honor it in such a way. And it's so screenplay was really beautifully written. Susan McMartin did an incredible job at communicating all of these really simple yet complicated subject matter, and these ideas. That you can love someone no matter if they're biologically connected to you.
Right.
Like you can have them as a part of your family, and you can fight for them and support them in the deepest, darkest, weakest moments of your life, no matter who they are. And I think we need a little bit more of that in our world today.
Yeah, I love how this movie, and this was, as you mentioned, based on a true story, on how this movie speaks to family, and family is a lot more, as you said, more than biological. It's what you make it and what you allow it to be. And the family that we see, the chemistry especially between you and Eddie Murphy, is just wonderful. And to see that start on this progress where you show up on screen, your character shows up as a 10-year-old, but you actually show up as a 16-year-old, and we progress watching you for the next, decade plus. And you see that chemistry between the two of you. That's pretty amazing. Is that something that you felt was pretty natural for the two of you?
Yeah, I think, with Eddie, he's such a quiet, sort of reserved, shy, sort of guarded person anyway, that he does, there is a very Mr. Church-like essence to him, this sort of mystery behind the eyes and not quite sure what's going on or what is happening in his life. Like you know so much about his time with you, but not so much about his time without you.
Right.
And it was nice to kind of feel that in all the scenes, because I as Britt didn't know very much about Eddie, and I had to really dig deep to learn more about him. And as much as we, the longer we spent time with each other, and the more days that we had and the more scenes that we had, we were able to get to know each other more and more. But I think that's what was so beautiful about the film, is that it really is like these two people who just have a connection and a bond, and not because of history or because of anything other than just being there for each other in a time of need, and learning all the other stuff along the way.
Yeah, there are some films that are character-driven, others that are story-driven, but this one, to me, I really sensed a decent balance, a really good balance with both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are you hoping that people will gain from this movie, Mr. Church?
I hope that people are able to watch this film and just have a little bit more appreciation for the people in their own life who they love and care for, and because the world keeps moving, not by all the things that we do for ourselves every day, but by the acts that we can try and put forth for one another. It's like lifting each other up, and I hope that everyone can take a second and consider those people that have helped lift you up in your time of need, and I don't know, just inspire you to do the same for them.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I think the movie definitely delivers on that. The movie does open September. I think September 16th is the date I've got, and if I'm wrong, I'll make sure I let people know that I am wrong on that. But that's the date that I see.
I think that's right. I
Okay.
think you're right.
All right. Well, good deal. Have you got time to talk a little bit about the Netflix series Girl Boss?
Sure. Yeah. It's a show called Girl Boss on Netflix, and it comes out in 2017. It's loosely based on this young woman named Sophia Amoruso and sort of her rise to success. She's a young girl with a lot of conflict on how to go about being a businesswoman, because she has this great idea for a business, but not a great idea for how to run it. She's kind of lost and a little, just finding her way a bit.
Right.
So the story, the first season that you'll see on Netflix is really just it's kind of like her journey to finding her business and how she's going to make that happen. But it's a very wild, wacky, zany show.
Okay.
Super fun. It's written by this woman named Kay Cannon, and she wrote the Pitch Perfect movies.
Yes.
And it's cool. It's a really fun show.
Now, do you bounce back between film and TV? Do you have a preference, or do you just enjoy acting?
I mean, I kind of love TV, but it's good for me to do movies. It's good for my whatever brand.
Your brand, I love it. Well, and when you get to hang out with the likes of Julia Roberts and George Clooney, that's not too bad either.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Well, any other projects you want to share that you're working on that you want people to be aware of that's out and about?
That should be it for now.
Good deal. Well, Britt Robertson, our guest here on Cinemascene on WGWG, wonderful actress and a Carolina girl as well, and so we really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right. If people wanted to find out more about you, I want to make sure you have a website. Do you have a Twitter feed? How would you like people to kind of follow and keep up with you?
You can just Google me like everybody else these days. If you need any info.
All right. Just Google Britt Robertson and find out what you can there. Really appreciate you spending time with us right here on Cinemascene. Until next time, for WGWG, that is a wrap.